From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big, beautiful morning here on Mornings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over your monthly stimulus check the Democrats want you to still have and why there will be more months of checks. We'll be going over the recon process and why that recon is giving you additional sums of money. It's incredible, great news. And then we go over the final 15 minutes of this video where we go over the bill, the vote, what Chuck Schumer said on Friday, the breaking news about that as well. And then we cut to the big exciting details of this stimulus. Commissioner Saul fired on Friday. What went on and does that impact your fifth stimulus? And finally, we get to the big exciting money that viewers continue to get. It's a big morning. It's a big exciting day. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and this is Mornings LA. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're having a beautiful morning. How's the weather where you are? Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Jump in the live chat right now. It's got cooler here in Southern California in Santa Monica. It was hot last week, but it cooled down, thank goodness. Later part of this week is supposed to be hot again. So jump in the live chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we're going to start with the monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats would likely now give you more months of checks than initially thought. Then we're going to go to the reconciliation process and why that recon will likely give you big other sums of money. And what are they? I'll explain them in this video. And then the final 15 minutes of video, we'll go over the big sums of the big process upon us, the bills, the votes, the dates, the July 4th, the July 15th, everything you need to know. And they'll all be answered, all your questions answered in the final 15 minutes, plus that surprising Chuck Schumer letter from Friday. I'll explain all the details. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, as Commissioner Saul is fired at head of Social Security Administration on Friday. Does that impact your fifth stimulus? I'll explain all the details. And then we cut to the big money that viewers continue to get. $5, $10, $15, $20,000. It's your day to get these tens of thousands of dollars. Big money, and I'm going to show you how. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning like right now, and taped in the afternoons. Next up is Mornings Crypto, live on air, then noontime at 11 a.m., followed by afternoons and evenings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Next stop, 1 million. Also like this video. Every like helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat. Also under the video where it says join now. Let's cut to that fourth stimulus with part one with the number of checks and the amounts. House bill, Senate proposal, slightly different, both monthly, but the issue is, of course, the pandemic. The number of stimulus checks is impacted when you're looking at how it's done across the board. Senate and House, let's look at it. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks. Senators, stimulus checks from July to December. Let's go to the payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate, unknown, but word on the street is this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, the big issue as we go into this morning is the question of whether the number of checks have now grown back up. 2 weeks ago, we were looking at this and saying, well, the legislature may contend the pandemic's over. And if they do consider the pandemic's over, the House bill would just be 12 months of checks, $13,000. Not anymore. A week and a half ago, LA County started the trail, saying the pandemic's not over. Then Warren Buffett said the pandemic's not over, airlines saying the same. And then last Wednesday and Thursday, everything changed dramatically. Japan going on a state of emergency, ending all spectators of the Olympic Games. Midwest states like Missouri at 80% capacity due to the variant of ICU beds. Suddenly, it all looks like the pandemic's not over. And with that, then suddenly the House bill looks like the one that is more paying a lot more money. It looks like the House bill would pay more months of checks. Pandemic plus 1 year under the House bill would be more than $13,000 if they pay for the pandemic. And so let's compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I think your opinion may have also changed. I know my opinion changed. I want to see you voting right now. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent everyone who got a third stimulus check will get a fourth stimulus check. Single individuals, $75,000 or less, Democrats represent, you will get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less, Democrats represent, you would get a fourth stimulus check, just double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you would get a fourth stimulus check, just quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI or SSDI or VA or any other type of benefits, Democrats represent, you would get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for everyone. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in waves. So if you do see that stimulus check at the boutique trying on a new sweater, and the check, his arms is stuck in the sweater, and you say, hey, check, what's going on? And the check's going like this. It's like a strange pear dance. The check is just confused. It's not waving back at you. Its arms are just stuck in the sweater. A rude check. No, it's not a rude check. It just, the Democrats represent that the fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July without arms. Thank goodness, because I don't want that perforation where I have to cut the arms off. In the month of August, for the month of August, and while they didn't get that vote to a finale by July 4th, I'll explain to you why in the third part of this video. In the third part of this video, stay to the final 15. All the final 15 minutes of this video will explain everything you've been asking. The vote, the dates, the July 4th, the July 15th, the bills, the vote, what date, how, when, and where. It's all coming up late in this video. But in the second part of this video, we'll be going over the recon and why that recon is giving you other sums of money. What are those other sums of money and what is it for? Well, it's getting very exciting. But in the second half of this video, we go over that firing of Commissioner Saul at Social Security Administration and what that means, if anything, for your fifth stimulus raise of your benefits across the board this fall. Meantime, let's get some money. Boy, I am so excited for you. You are killing it. If you're new to this channel, this is what I do. I get people money. I don't track checks. I help you cash checks. In March of last year, people were losing their homes because they were not getting the EIDL loan or EIDL grant. I started this channel not to have you track where the check was, but for you to get the check. And I got you the check. I got $25 million of EIDL checks for viewers of this channel, saving their homes, their businesses, and also their employees' homes. But in fall of 2020, it was like now, where you needed money, you needed your bills paid, and second stimulus was not happening. Like fourth stimulus, where it's actually stalled at the moment. So I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000 for things like rent. Tyrone, his family in Boston got $15,000 from me in December of last year. Paid all his bills all the way to the spring. So we're doing it right now. Jump in the live chat because boy, if you saw Afternoons or Evenings LA last night, that's what's happening with this channel. I'm going to go over, get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to go over the big money I can get for you right now. It is rent, utilities, internet, and also homeowners, utilities, mortgage, and internet as well. Last night's Evenings LA, last night's Afternoons LA was incredible. I have been saying that I can get you for rent about $5,000, about 4 to 6 months of rent. Now viewers are getting $12,000 from this channel, $14,000 routinely. By themselves and with the volunteers. Nisi got $20,000 for rent. Then I said I can get you money for utilities, a couple $100. Viewers are getting $3,000 they're reporting on Afternoons and Evenings LA on the live chat. For Snap, I said, hey, I have viewers getting $5,000 to $6,000 for Snap. Now viewers are getting $12,000 for Snap, like John. Nisi got $23,000 for Snap rent and utilities. Art Sullivan got 3 items, including Snap. You are killing it. And what's different than the last year, you're getting more sums of money than ever before because of these videos. So get that pen and paper ready because I want you to get that money right now as well. I'm going to show you different places for different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. All right, you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know. like Stimulus or Casey Royal Red. This is red, but it's not Casey anything. It's more cardinal. Yeah, Canute. They won't know that. They also won't know muddled red or murdered red. I mean, this is not Murder, She Wrote. So you gotta say words that they know. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money for rent. And yeah, viewers are getting $12,000 to $14,000 routinely, hourly on this channel for rent now. Congratulations. I want you to get as well. The next part of the money is SNAP. It's coming from Department of Agriculture. And viewers are getting $12,000 for SNAP, like John for his family of 4. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get Department of Agriculture? What is the eligibility? Less than a stimulus check. If you got a stimulus check, why would you not get SNAP? Why would you not get SNAP? Why are you paying for your own food when the federal government would pay for it? And hence you would have that money freed up so that you could have that money in the bank and used for other bills around the house. It pays a lot, SNAP. $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. I'm so excited for you. Gail got it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. And of course, John got $12,000 for it. Art Sullivan got this with 2 other items. Jump in the live chat right now. Post the SNAP you got. Post it annualized. Remember, every time you post the money you got, 3 things happen. 1, it inspires someone else to go get the money. And they see other people getting it. They're like, well, I can go get it. If they're getting it, I will get it. Then it inspires someone who got 1 item to go get other items. You may have gotten rent, but not SNAP. Now you're listening like, I got to go get that SNAP as well. Third, it updates me because I see the numbers and I realize the numbers are bigger and bolder than I even thought. Well, congratulations. You're doing a great job. $16,000 for SNAP for a family of 4, $5,000 for rent. We're only 12 minutes into this video, and I got more money for you right now. It is the money coming back from the states. The states have been ordered to return back money to you due to overpayment of computer error of unemployment benefits. Where? Direct deposit. When? Reach out your state and say, hey, state, where is that overpayment of money due to computer error for unemployment? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last wonderful pot of money is the refund check due to IRS. If you got this as well, jump in the live chat. Cog got it, Margaret got it, Michael got it. How much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $4,000 of taxes, of which $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah. Go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal stuff you never knew, some stuff that you don't want to know. It'll reveal, is there a muddled red color in the color wheel? I don't know that. Does the teal princess live in a teal tower? Don't want to know that either. And reveal the tax return check and when you're getting it. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second big part of your 4th stimulus check updated 2021 starting right now. So your money is now in a better place now in the recon than it was 2 Wednesdays ago. 2 Wednesdays ago, the recon was shrunk when they took roads and bridges out of it and put it into something called the bipartisan. Why did that happen? Here's what happened. 3 weeks ago, Nancy, the president, Jalapa were meeting routinely and saying, hey, this recon is huge. It has roads and bridges in there. And we asked our Democrats, would you vote in favor of it? And they said no. They said the recon's too big. You need to take roads and bridges out of it. And so 2 Wednesdays ago became the split day, as I call it. They took roads and bridges out and it shrunk the recon. Those roads and bridges were put into something called the bipartisan and your money stayed in the recon. Suddenly the recon became smaller. Suddenly the recon became passable. Again, your money staying in the recon and the roads and bridges being put into something called the bipartisan. Now 2 paths, your money recon and the roads and bridges in the bipartisan. What were the benefits of this? The huge number 1 game changer was that it made the recon passable. What does passable mean? I mean, if you call for a vote, it would pass. Before, when it was large, it would fail. The confirmation that it's now passable comes from even conservatives. Conservative print media, in a beautiful op-ed, the author wrote the following. The higher the top line was for the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the money out of the recon and put into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. taking out roads and bridges. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now passable. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. It's just not, there's no other way to say it. It just happened. The GOP had nothing to gain by blessing this bipartisan because now it made an ungodly sum of money now passable under the recon. There you go. So that was benefit number one. Benefit number two, now that the recon was shrunk because roads and bridges was taken out of them, the progressives could add a little bit more in with new progressive policies. They could add new stuff in. First, they confirmed they're adding new things in. The Progressive Caucus is meeting with the White House daily about stuff they want to add in. Second, Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, confirms they're adding stuff in. We have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, Congress will give us a recon that goes as big and as far as we want it to go. Wow, that's wonderful news. And then we have Representative Richie Torres confirming he added in housing. Housing? More about that in a second. I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless it's linked to a very large recon. Now, how are they able to add things in there? Because the recon is protected by the progressives. Jalapal was confirming that weeks ago. And certainly Brian Schatz, who said the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon its own priorities. So what's a recon? How is it being written? What's being added? What can be taken out? And what can still be added? First, what is a recon? A recon is a reconciliation bill. It's written by, in this case, by Democrats for Democrats to be voted by Democrats. GOP have nothing to do with the writing of it. All they'll do is sit back and vote against it. The recon is a bill that has money for the American people. It's all money for the American people. What has been confirmed and announced is in the recon. Later in this video here, that the House Ways and Means Subcommittee has confirmed that they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. The president said he's putting checks in there for children, seniors, medicine, climate, and electric vehicles. But what else is in there, and how is it written? The people who write the reconciliation are the House subcommittees. Those are not the House floor, but the House subcommittees. The way the Constitution sets up Congress is it has different parts of the congressional branches responsible for different parts of legislation. So in the House, you have House subcommittees, and each subcommittee is dedicated to different subject matters when drafting legislation. In the case of the House Ways and Means House Subcommittee, they oversee stimulus checks and unemployment exclusively. There are other subcommittees as well. Now, here's what you also need to know, is that under the Constitution, there's no requirement of transparency. So those House subcommittees don't really have to show you what they're writing. They have to show you if they're writing, or what they're writing, or whether they finished writing, or whether they voted, or how they voted. They don't have to show you that. And ultimately, they are writing. Now, when they're finished with what they're writing, let's say there's 10 of these groups, then those 10 parts, those 10 items of subcommittee of writings are then combined into something that's called a House bill. The House bill is not rewritten. It's just a combination of what those subcommittees have written. So ultimately, they can add stuff in. They can also take stuff out. Here is what you need to know, is that based upon what happened last week, they should be adding stuff in. On Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released. This is a number that tracks how many people in America had a job in 2020, had that same job in 2021, but suddenly showed up to work last week and were laid off. They worked for the last 2 years and suddenly they got laid off. 373,000 of them in America. A horrible number, shooting straight up. Wall Street is expecting 350,000 on the high end. Meantime, concerns that the China economy is slowing, our economy is slowing, Treasury yields falling on Thursday. And so there's big concerns about that this economic recovery may not be there. Hence, PEUC, PUA, FPUC, UI, all those unemployment federal items should be extended or reinstituted. Student loan debt forgiveness, mortgage forbearance, eviction moratorium can be added in there as well. Torres represents there's housing in there, but what type of housing? We don't know. He won't tell us. But ultimately, they should do the type of housing they did before, like eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance. They represent, as you'll see later in this video, that they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. We should push to ensure they keep that promise. Remember, legislators can wake up on a Monday morning and have something in there, but by afternoon, take it out. They can also start the day with it not in there and adding it back in. So you need to push purple power, never take anything for granted, never hold up that donut and just say, where's my stimulus check? You need to keep on pushing. But how did we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapal. Jalapal had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. That letter was written by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100 plus who had written the president letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Wow, that's a lot. 100 people, that is a lot. Can we top that? We can, as those 7 subcommittee members of the House Ways and Means, which I just went over, wrote the president letter saying, we are putting monthly fourth stimulus recon checks in fourth stimulus recon. Wow, now that's wonderful news. We got to keep them to that promise. And they wrote your third stimulus recon check earlier this year, and they represent they're giving you a fifth stimulus recon check next year. More about that later in this video. Wow, can we top that? We can. As the president has now got it to finality, that international corporate tax rate. 3 weeks ago, the president had a ceremonial signature of the international corporate tax rate. Now it became law just hours ago. By becoming law, it makes fourth stimulus recon easier to pass. Remember, the recon is written by Democrats for Democrats. Because the international corporate tax rate minimum is now in an international agreement, you don't have to have it in the fourth stimulus recon. So 1, it makes it easier to write the fourth stimulus recon now. Number 2, it makes it easier to call for a vote. Number 3, it makes it easier to vote on it. And 5, makes it easier to pass. Wow, now that's wonderful news. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the final third part, the final 15 minutes, the most important 15 minutes of this video, where we go over everything that you've been asking for about fourth stimulus recon. The bill, the date, the when, the how, the drafting, Chuck's letter on Friday. What is Nancy doing? What is Chuck doing? All your questions answered in that final 15 minutes. And first up before that will be the surprising details of Commissioner Saul being fired on Friday. Does it impact your fifth stimulus? But something even more wonderful, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, you tried to get it and you couldn't find it, don't worry, I got your back, they got your back. Reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. Open the description, go down in the description, it'll have an emoji of a house. Click on that emoji of the house, it'll send you to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. They'll help you get that rent, that utilities, that internet snap, so you can get big sums of money. Last night's Evenings LA praised one of the volunteers for helping her get $13,000 in rent. Incredible. That was for one person. So reach out to them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the big exciting details about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA. And the excitement continues on this big morning's LA broadcast direct from Santa Monica. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I'll have all that big exciting news in the final 15 minutes of this video going over your fourth stimulus. All your questions about the when, the how are answered. And also I'll go over the firing of Commissioner Saul and how that does or doesn't impact your fifth stimulus. But subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 2,000 to 3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers a sign of turmeric. and consider becoming a member so you learn about all the big money you can get across the board. The member link's underneath the video where it says the join button. So fifth stimulus got a big surprise on Friday as Commissioner Saul was fired. What does that mean for you and fifth stimulus? And what is fifth stimulus? Fifth stimulus involves that wonderful SSI and SSDI reform that will start by raising up your benefits, removing the asset limit, adding inflationary benchmark, removing the income exclusion, and removing the marriage penalty. Does the firing of Commissioner Saul from Social Security Administration on Friday impact this? No, because he doesn't pass your raising up of your benefits. That's done by act of Congress. What is the president's firing of this impacted it at all? No, because the president's not behind this legislation either. Remember, the president doesn't write legislation. He's the president. If he doesn't like it, he can veto it. He's not going to veto this one. But ultimately, during the president's run for the presidency, he had promised you SSI reform. He didn't deliver it. Then the transition papers, he said he was going to do it. He didn't deliver it. So ultimately, congressional leaders drafted what you're seeing now for fifth stimulus, saying, we're putting it in there. And that is what we're talking about, not impacted by Commissioner Saul's firing. He reportedly is vowing to fight it, so we will see what will happen. Fifth stimulus will also involve another stimulus check for next year, will not overlap with fourth stimulus. It's being written by those recon authors in the House Ways and Means. And the president's dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration before Commissioner Saul to ramp up payments and beneficiaries' checks going out on time. Finally, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things. There's no way around it. You're categorically required by law to do it. File a tax return and request it on the tax return, that missing stimulus check or checks. If you don't know how to do it, go to a tax preparer. All right, so how does this fifth stimulus work? It'll raise your benefits up a lifetime if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple benefits, that one-time lift. Then they'll apply a new benchmark every end of this year for next year's benefits. The new benchmark, inflation. Inflation going up. But here is where we get a little confused. On Thursday last week, we had a lot of statements that said maybe the inflation rate is falling. What is my thought on it? Well, this is what happened on Thursday. The 10-year Treasury note fell dramatically on Thursday, 1.25%, causing some people to think that was just sort of extreme. And while it was falling because of concerns that economic growth may be stalling, it rebounded by Friday. So my opinion, I'm going to stick with Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve. He says that inflation is going up and it'll reach its highest price point in December. Maybe the rate may be lower than initially thought. But there's a new report out today that says that the existing home sales spike, which is absolutely enormous, it's almost 15% in some states, is surging inflation so much that just home sales may cause a 2% inflation rate. Just 2% just for the home sale issue of what's going on in this economy. So suddenly maybe that 10% inflation rate, it could be happening. Let's use a number. First, they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply a benchmark. Let's say it is 10%. Then your benefits would step up an additional 10%, not just next year, but lifetime. Wow, that's wonderful news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you have room to have some cardinal red crayons in your hand and some stimulus checks. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to work and no longer fear loss of benefits. They will be able to get their benefits restored if they were lost as well. And there you go. That is fourth stimulus. That is fifth stimulus. But if you're on the live chat and you're wondering, wait a second, how are these people getting this big money? How are they getting this big money? And why do they have Purple Hawks behind their name? They are members. Go into this video. It says join here. And by becoming a member, you're delivered daily from me a breakdown of all the big monies under fourth, third, and fifth stimulus. Third stimulus is now law. And when $1,400 stimulus checks were being sent out on the third stimulus, I said, congratulations, but I'm going to get you $14,000. And that's what viewers are doing. If you understand how this channel works, you should not be financially dependent on one check when the federal government has determined that you qualify for lots of other checks. All you have to do is go apply for it. So consider becoming a member so I show you where those checks are and how you get them. All right, here we go. Time for the final big 15-minute finale of your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. A lot of breaking news and a lot of details you need to know. First, the July 4th date. So, Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi 1,000 times said the final vote on the recon would be by July 4th. Why did they not get it done by then? Because at the time they said that, the recon had roads and bridges in there. And when they went to speak to their Democratic caucus members, they said, nope, I'm not voting for it. It's too big, that recon. You have to take the roads and bridges out. So that's why they didn't get it done by July 4th. So then they took the roads and bridges out, and the split happened 2 Wednesdays ago. But then I asked, wait a second. The split happened before July 4th. So why not call the vote for the recon then? The answer is enough Democrats have come back and say, no, you have to also call the vote for the bipartisan. Here's what you need to know. The recon has to be voted on before or concurrently with the bipartisan. Cannot go afterwards. If the recon goes after bipartisan, it fails. Okay. So then I would say, okay, so why not call the recon and the bipartisan for a vote right before July 4th when the recon was shrunk? Well, the issue was that the recon, according to Democrats, was mostly or near completed writing. Good. So call for a vote. And then if we have to get to the bipartisan, we'll get to the bipartisan, let's say, in October. It's a road and bridge. It's been crumbling for 50 years. It can crumble for 4 more weeks. Just get the recon voted on now before July 4th, and we'll get to the bipartisan in the fall. No, said some Democrats. They said that the recon has to be called for a vote close in proximity to the bipartisan, like a few days, within the week, or within a few hours. Okay, to which I said, well, is the bipartisan ready for a call for a vote? No. Here's where the surprise came. No one had written the bipartisan by the time of July 4th. Here's what had happened, unbeknownst to us. When Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican negotiator, met with the president throughout the month of June to negotiate on the bipartisan, she didn't have a bill. She didn't even have a written proposal. Those negotiations fell apart after a month. So then the president started meeting with the bipartisan group. And those negotiations ended with an agreement and a split 2 Wednesdays ago. But when they reached that agreement, no one in that room had a bill. No one in that room had a written proposal. So then I would say, well, wait a second. That was 2 Wednesdays ago. So that's over 2.5 weeks ago. What have you done in 2.5 weeks of writing when you should have been writing while you were negotiating for the last month on top of that before? And to that point, we land at a level of unacceptableness. This is #WriteTheBill. #WriteTheBill from 2020 on this channel, where Democrats and Republicans are both guilty of not writing the bill fast enough. In 2020, we were screaming and shouting, write the bill. And here we are with these legislators elected to Congress, paid a salary with our taxes to write legislation, and in 2.5 weeks do not have the bipartisan legislation written. Unacceptable. You have to push purple power. #write the bill. Number 2, dates. July 4th, July 15th, July 14th. What's going on? I just went over the July 4th. Now the July 15th and the July 14th, I love my viewers. I love my subscribers because they know the answer. Nothing for 4th stimulus has anything to do with July 15th or July 14th. July 15th and July 14th is 3rd stimulus from earlier this year. It has nothing to do with 4th stimulus. Totally different idea, a different body of law. Number 3, how about the vote? How does that work? I'm bringing vote back into discussion. I made over 100 plus videos about about all the steps of the voting back several months ago, but I'm bringing it back to re-educate you. There is 3 bills, not one, and they got to vote on 3 bills. Those 3 bills are the recon procedural, the recon substantive, and the bipartisan. So they have 3 bills to vote on. How many steps does it take? Normally, a bill is voted on in the Senate subcommittee, the House subcommittee, the Senate floor, and the House floor, and then the president signs it. But Chuck Schumer saves time in the case of recon because he has the House subcommittee write the legislation with the Senate subcommittee looking over their shoulder. So he does not need to send it back into a subcommittee a second time. They work together when they write it because they're the same party. So how many steps per bill? 4. Senate subcommittee, Senate floor. House President. 4 steps times 3, 12 steps. 12 steps for 3 bills, but it doesn't take 12 days. So it takes 12 steps. There's no way around it. That's what's created by the Constitution. There is nothing about anything that can do this in any other way because it's required by the Constitution. Next, can they modify the language of the recon quickly, and should they or could they? Yes, this is huge. So when you establish an act and the act creates bodies of a law, you don't have to rewrite the act every time you say, oh, as to that act we had a few years ago, let's do a few more weeks of it. So this is easy. When we're looking at forced stimulus recon and you're sitting back and saying, I think they should do more weeks of PUA, PUC, FPUC, PUA. I think they should do more weeks of it. All they got to do is write one sentence. As to that, CARES Act 1 from 2020, we extend it 12 more weeks, or we reinstitute it for 12 more weeks, or 14 weeks, or whatever it is. If it's expired, we reinstitute it. If it's currently active, we extend it. That's all it takes. It requires just a sentence. They don't have to write much. It's very easy under the recon to do unemployment, to do mortgage forbearance, eviction moratorium, things like that, that rent that were already in third stimulus or first stimulus or second stimulus. All they do is to say, I want more, we're going to do more weeks of it. Student loan debt forgiveness, they could do it, but it would be a little bit more work because there's not an actual student loan debt forgiveness provision written in any of these prior stimulus packages. Should they do it? Absolutely. Now remember, legislators can take something out and put something in at spur of the moment. You could start the day with stimulus checks in there, and in the morning and in the afternoon they could take it out. What's important to know is that you need to push purple power because legislators are looking at a lot of economic data, and you have an opportunity upon you. The opportunity was last week's economic data was awful. The White House determined stimulus based upon unemployment, the Treasury Secretary, and Congress, and the unemployment numbers were horrible last week. This week may not be, so you have to use every opportunity you have. Meantime, guess what guess what Congress and the White House will be looking at next week as well, this week as well. They will be looking at the new corporate earnings for this new corporate cycle that are coming in. They look at it to determine how strong this economy is. Trust me. Congress will be looking at it when they're writing recon or finishing up recon, saying, well, what does that tell us? Here are 3 possibilities. The numbers are good. That's fine. Would not impact us. Number 2, the numbers are insanely good. Oh, that may cause problems because if they say the numbers are really good, then some conservative Democrats may say, I don't know. And then if the numbers are bad, they may say, oh boy, we may have to get a lot more. So what's coming up next this coming week? On Tuesday, PepsiCo, JP Morgan, Chase, and Goldman Sachs report earnings. Jim Cramer says as a PepsiCo, expect great numbers, but they may have problems with raw costs going up. Middle of the week are the banks, alike Bank America, Citigroup, but also Delta. Jim Cramer says about Delta that I want to know how much damage the Delta COVID strain is doing to Delta. And we need to know if business travelers are finally coming back. I don't think they're coming back. If business travelers don't come back and the number's bad, trust me, Congress will see it, the president will see it, and they will say, need more stimulus. Travel and leisure not coming back, that's a whole swath of our economy, a whole swath of unemployment. So absolutely have to solve that. And by the end of the week are more of the financials across the board to pass. Finally, what did Chuck Schumer say on Friday? Am I excited about it, or not excited about it, or unexcited about it? Chuck Schumer on Friday said that Congress should be, or the Senate, should be expected to work more and not expected to go home. Okay, so what is my opinion of the situation? Well, I had told you before he said that. That's why you tune into this channel, because I tell you things before it happens. I told you that under the Constitution, Chuck Schumer, the president, Nancy Pelosi have authority to call members of Congress back into session to vote on something. Nancy did in 2020. I made 1,000 videos about it in 2020. Now, when they call them back into session, they're not just calling them back into session to vote, but also do a little bit of work. So this is no surprise. I predicted he was going to say this. I told you he was going to say this. Now, What I do like about it is he says, stay in town and do some more work. I like that because that's a little bit beyond just saying, come back into town to vote. It's saying, stay here and do a little bit more work. I like that a lot. I don't like it's vague. It's just inherently vague. So I'm not very excited about how vague it is. Meantime, I think he had to say it. I mean, what else was he going to say? Okay, have a beautiful summer, and I'll see you in the fall when you're sipping your Mai Tai at the beach club. Don't trip over the homeless outside the door. I mean, what's he gonna say? Of course he has to make it look like they are doing more than a normal routine because of the pandemic. So they have to look like they're trying. But I think this is a good step forward. Finally, it's important for you to push Purple Power. You need to push. It's important to understand that these legislators are watching the economics as much as you and I are. They see the jobless numbers. They see the corporate earnings. They see the warnings from the Fed. They see all these numbers. And whenever a number is bad, it's your opportunity to pounce. Because guess what? In 2 weeks from now, there may be a good number. And they say, well, there's a good number. So you need to pounce. They can take something out, they can put something in. Not an opportunity for you to be a donut person. Not an opportunity for you to hold up that donut and say, what day am I receiving? Because trust me, these are legislators. They can take something out, they can put it back in. And now is the opportunity for you to have them put more in there than was in there before. So call up your Democratic senators, call up your progressives, contact your progressives and tell them why you need things in there. Don't ask them where your money is. Tell them why you need money in there, why you need certain provisions. And if it's a provision that I don't cover in this channel as in depth as you would like, perhaps like student loan debt forgiveness, tell them why you think it needs to be in there. And make the pitch, because here's the opportunity. The opportunity is here. The data was bad. And now as we go in this new week, the data is still relatively calm and not particularly good. It's your opportunity to pounce. And with that, I'll next see you on Mornings Crypto. Big news across the board as the crypto industry is going left and right. Then we're back at noon time with Home at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss noon on this channel. And with that, subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.